In today's episode, I'm going to be attempting the full solve of privatized cryptic crossword puzzle set by Cyclops number 817. I tried to do these before any answers are released, so I don't promise I'll get these all right, and I might misinterpret some of the clues. So please do join in the comments, and we can solve this together. So with all those qualifiers, why don't we get started with one down? We have, to begin, cocaine turned up on cheese with this for 7. Now, turned up is going to be a reversal indicator. We're going to be turning something up the other way, and it's a down clue, so that's specifically a reversal for a down clue. How are we going to break this down? Either cocaine turned up, and so we're going to have to find... how many letters is cocaine? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is 7, but that's too easy, isn't it? That doesn't that doesn't spell a word. So it's gonna have to be a substitution for the word cocaine. And the question is that turned up? And the definition is either could be on cheese with this. So what we're looking for is going to be on cheese. Or, in fact, if we're passing this, it's a substitution for cocaine and then turned up on. So either on itself or a substitution for on is going to be the actual reversal, and then the definition is cheese with this. So I'm assuming it's you eat cheese with this. Cocaine, well, if you were substituting it, it's either going to be typically Coke, right, or crack. And I'm just thinking crackers and cheese. And that's 7. So the crack would be there. And then ER reversed, right, is probably going to then be the on for re. Like in an email, right, regarding this or on this. Is that the substitution? It's a bit of a stretch of a substitution if that's true. But cracker cheese with this, that feels I was about to say too good to be true, maybe it is, but that's it. It's got to be cheese and crackers. Let's do 2 down. What have we got? Sex at first has the power to examine for 4. So sex at first. So I imagine that's the S, because the first part of, or the first letter of sex is S. Has, so it's going to be with another 3 letters. It has the power. So perhaps a 3-letter substitution for power or the power, and that gives us an answer for to examine as the definition. 4-letter word for examining that begins with S. Scan, right? That feels right. And can is what you've got there for the power. So if you have the power, you can do it. A few stretches to begin with. This is the warm up, a bunch of stretches just to get us going. I feel like we could probably do 7 across here. Member, objectionable type for 5. So a double definition. Member can be a range of things. It could be a limb, like your arm or your leg. I've seen that plenty of times in private eye crosswords, where the substitution for member is like your arm. But member, objectionable type. And member, of course, can be your genitalia as well. And I was just thinking, member, objectionable type, like a penis would probably work, but it doesn't if we're right here. And so Prick might be the answer instead there, because that's obviously your member is your prick, and you call somebody a prick if they're an objectionable type. That feels good. 9 9 across with the C in the end. It's a super long one. 9 and 11. So we've got an 8 for the 9 and a 5 for the 11. So 2 words. What we get from Rachel Reeves is logic. Come on, stupid. 0 optimism ultimately. Lots going on. I mean, we can probably guess what the last 2 letters of this are going to be. We have 0 optimism. Right. Optimism ultimately. The last letter, the ultimate letter of optimism is M. That's the go. So because ultimately says take the last letter of a word, almost certainly the definition is going to be at the start. Then what we get from Rachel Reeves is logic. We'll figure that out in a minute. But optimism ultimately is M, and 0 is almost always just the letter O because it looks like a 0. So those 2 letters I'd be quite confident in. And then what we're looking for is, what was it, 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're looking for 11 letters left. And stupid to me is an anagram indicator. And I bet can we count backwards for 11 letters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Brilliant. What we get from Rachel Reeves is the answer. And the answer is going to be some anagram of logic, come on, with and do you know what? I bet it's something to do with, because, I'm this well read with Rachel Reeves being the Chancellor, something to do with economics. And so that probably might fit, does it? I think we could probably do econo. It's not going to be economy. We haven't got a Y. Oh yeah, and then what's this G gonna do? So economic is probably right. What do we have left then? This G, the L, and how many O's have we used up? 2. So gloom, economic gloom. That's a really good one to get early doors. That long one there. And what we get from Rachel Reeves is economic gloom. How about that? Can we do 12 across then? Sketch of Republican outcast, almost imitating liberal sources for 6. So, okay, we've got a few interesting things here. We've got sources. So the definition is going to be at the start of this clue. Sketch, maybe, I don't know. Because sources is going to be telling us to take the first letter of some words. So we're looking for the sources of maybe L, almost certainly L and I, because almost is typically a deletion indicator. So that you've got a word and it's almost the full word. It's just missing the last letter. So we could put in the IL, and then Republican is usually abbreviated to the letter R, but we haven't got a lot of letters to be working with here, because what outcast almost. Are we looking for a? Does it begin with an R? Maybe it's sketch of is sketch or something like that. It's not refill. Sketch refill. No, that doesn't work. And outcast. No, that wouldn't work, because we'd be looking for a 3-letter word for outcast that begins with FI. Don't quite know what that might be, because we'd be deleting a 3rd letter, so we'd have to think what would it be. Let's come back to that one Let's do 10 down, because that looks promising. A Spice Girl performing tit for 5. So, I mean, if that's the L, it's got to be Mel. Mel something. So, a double definition, likely. So, we've got a Spice Girl performing, maybe, yeah, Spice Girl performing, and then tit as the other element of this, perhaps, or performing. Yeah, maybe. So Mel. So it's either Mel B or Mel C, but that doesn't give us the additional 2 words here. So we're looking for 2 letters after Mel. That's going to give us a word. So it's got to be a Spice Girl performing. So we've got to find 2 letters here for Spice Girl performing. And then tits, is there a 5-letter, like a melon, right? Oh, is that could be it. Mel on, right? So a Spice Girl performing. So Mel is on, she's on performing. And tit, you are a melon. Maybe. What about 15 across? Let's just keep momentum going. Don't think about it too hard. 15 across, we have posh prisons, dodgy finance. So, dodgy is almost certainly an anagram indicator, and I suspect then posh prisons is 11 letters. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Brilliant. It can't be fun viewing, watching me count out the letters here. But that is just always confirms. We are looking for an anagram of posh prisons. That means to finance. We've already got one of the N's. The N out of prison. For better viewing, I might get an anagram solver to quickly do it for us, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that immediately, just off the top of it. So we know what that's going to end up looking like. So we've passed it. Let's just keep going along. What have I got? Oh, well, I've got 14 next. Anyway, how right-wing flag hoisters view themselves. Weapons of war for 8. Yeah, we're going to. I mean, certainly another double definition. Quite a few of those, actually, so far, isn't it? It's got to be that. I'm not really seeing other indicators in that clue. I mean, let's come back to it, but it's probably going to be something like that. What could we? Can we try and do 13? I mean, why not? Let's try 13 down to see if we can get something here by chance. How's your father's platonic love arrangement around university for 10? Probably a bad idea, actually, going after this clue. It's going to be something like university is sometimes just either abbreviated to the letter U, or it's uni, or it's an actual university. Platonic love arrangements. Love, I mean, is platonic love, because arrangement feels like it should be an anagram indicator. I mean, let's count it out again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, interesting. It's probably not going to be platonic love as the arrangement, because that's more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, more than 10 letters. So, unless love is meant to be a 0, because love is sometimes abbreviated to a 0, like in tennis. So if we've got a 0 or an O for love and a U for university, platonic is 8 letters. So maybe we're anagramming platonic and O, and there's going to be a U thrown in there. somewhere. And the definition then is, how's your father's? How's your father? Yeah, I think that's beyond me at this point. Never mind. Can we do? Let's do a short one. 3 down here. Insult conservative circle for 4. I mean, conservative usually abbreviated to the letter C, and we have a C here. So if that's true, then that would mean the definition is circle. And we'd be looking for maybe a 3-letter abbreviation or substitution for insult. So, I mean, get your thesaurus out. Is there a 4-letter word for circle that ends with a C? A disc? Maybe, because to insult is to diss someone. So that looks good. Disc. Fantastic. We've got a G here. Can we do 4 down? Fancy getting a rise. About $1,000, sir, for 6. So we've got the G here for the thousands, because that's just a grand. So a G there. Fancy getting a rise. About £1,000, sir. So look, I was fancy getting. So it's a reversal indicator. Getting a rise. So a word is getting a rise. It's reversing, and this down clue. It's not fancy, although it is the right number of letters. What does it give us? Fagnacy? No, that's. It's almost embarrassing that I typed that out. So, sir then feels like the definition. That another word, 5-letter word for fancy, is getting a rise. So, sir. Yeah, might have to come back to that one. Have we got anything for the 5? We've got the O. At present, the Tories reduced work situation for 10. Okay. So, what have we got? No, I don't know if we've got enough letters to properly pass it. Reduced is interesting. It's either Tories reduced or it's reduced work. And reduced work would be interesting because sometimes work is changed to the Latin for opus, and reduced work would be OP. Let's come back to it. 6 down. Presidential period say that is restricting Trump's #1 tree destroyer. Okay, this feels doable. A presidential period say, we've got the M, it's got to be a term. That is restricting. Oh, interesting. So, presidential period is the term. It's not presidential period say. Say, or another way of thinking about say, it looks like 2 letters for say, is restricting Trump's #1. So the letter T. So T's got to be there. Termite has got to be the answer for tree destroyer. So look what's happened here. Say, another way of saying that is IE, or in other words, say. So that's where that's coming from. So we've got termites going down. Excellent. 14. Okay, so now this is interesting. I suspect the last letter here is the letter S because we've got plurals. How right-wing flag hoisters view themselves, and then weapons of war. So there's got to be an S at the end. TS. Yeah, let's leave the S there for inspiration later on. Did we do ace across? No. Let's see what we've got here. Slept around and sadly taken by force for 9. Sadly is an anagram indicator. So we're anagramming. Okay. So how do we think about this? I think taken by force or something like that is going to be the definition, because slept, or another way of thinking about the word slept, a substitution perhaps, is going to be around and sadly. So an anagrammed and, the letters A-N-D. So we're looking for really another word for slept, a 6-letter word for slept. And interestingly, because it's slept in the past tense, and we've got an E here, it's probably going to be ED at the end. The letter and is going to be in here somewhere, but just rearranged. Taken by force. It's a bit annoying we can't get 4 and 5 here, really. That's a little, yeah, we haven't got a huge amount left to go on to try and get those. Let's see if we can just let's come back to it. Let's have a fresh start somewhere else on here. Anything that we might think about here? I'm just having a quick look down to see if there's anything that stands out to me. This one might be quite interesting. Dickey or Reagan? Harbouring conservative contempt. So, Dickey or Reagan? Sneaky. So you're thinking like Richard Nixon or Ronald Reagan. You're like, is there something about these names? No. Dickey is an anagram indicator. We're dickying around with. O-R Reagan, I imagine, that's 8 letters, which harbours the letter C, contains the letter C for conservative, for contempt. So need the anagram solver. What could this be? It's got a G in it. We're harbouring. We've got a C in there as well. Oh goodness. This feels so doable. For contempt. Oh, I'm just not seeing it at the moment. You're probably shouting at me. Here I am sorry. I'm not seeing it. I'm gonna have to come back to it with fresh eyes. But that is what's going on in that clue. Can we do something else? What's 26? Managed to shag Mark for 5. Okay, this feels like a double definition. And if it is a double definition, I'd suspect that Mark is by itself and managed to shag is the other part. For 5 letters. Okay, we've got a breakthrough. To score. Right, if you manage to shag, you score. And a mark. To mark something is to score something. Let's keep going in this little corner. Shit, China's hoarding yen for 4. Now, this is an interesting one, because I'm quite sure in a recent private eye crossword we had yen. And yen is not what you're thinking, like a Japanese currency. To yen is actually to yearn after something where you've got, and I think this is almost like a repeat in this clue. When you've got the itch for something, I'm sure Cyclops has done that one actually quite recently. And look, you've got itch here between shit and China. And so shit China is hoarding yen, right? So hoarding, so it's a hidden indicator. And we've got the C. I'm a bit surprised actually that it feels like that clue's been used pretty much almost word for word before. Worth double checking that actually, but itch feels right on that one. 18 down, why not? Decline having an erection, being reactionary for 7. So decline feels like a deletion indicator, perhaps that we're declining maybe another word that means having an erection, which we've got an R for. So being reactionary feels then like the definition. Might have to come back to that one. What's 23 across? Artwork, it's cheap crap for 8. Okay, doable. P 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Crap is our anagram indicator. We're looking for another word for artwork. That's 8 letters. And once more, we're anagramming. Got the I there. I there. Do you know what? I've had the light. I've seen the light here because the P and the A here, pastiche, is what I think that is, and that would mean we've got an H here. So decline. So I mean, look, having an erection means you get hard. Die hard is to be a reactionary, and to decline is to die. I think it's a substitution. Die hard is probably right. Brilliant. I mean, let's keep going. What's 21 across here? Jail worked for Frank for 6 letters. Jail worked for. So the structure of this clue is jail worked for or to get the answer for Frank. So it's not going to be a person. Well, it might be a person, Frank, but Frank to be straight with somebody, probably. And so then this is a charades cryptic clue where there's going to be 2 components. One that means jail, one that means worked. That will give us a word to mean to be frank. Words for jail. We haven't got a lot of words here because it's not going to be prison or anything like that. It's too long. Other words for jail. I mean, if worked is the second element of this, it's got an I there. Really, then, is there a short word you can think of that means worked? That's got an I in it. No, it's not coming to me. That's a shame. We're on a bit of a roll down here then. 16 down, clobber's clobber for 5. So if you clobber somebody, you're hitting them, you're attacking them. So we've got an S. It's not, no. And then clobbers is also like clothing as well. It doesn't specifically tell you what type of clothing, I don't think, but that's the S. So a plural of a type of clothing that also means to clobber somebody. So here we go through the motions. Shirts, tops, no. Pants, to clobber someone, to pants someone. Doesn't feel right. Shorts, no. Socks, that's what it is. To sock somebody is to clobber them. So to clobber, if you've clobbered them, you've socked them. The plural thing is which is the plural, right? Clobbers somebody, socks somebody, and socks are clobber. That's probably the right way to think about it. So then look, okay, if it's socks, 21 across, jail, work for Frank. The can is got to be for jail then, and to be frank is to be candid, which means worked. It worked and did is the substitution there. Bit of a stretch. Not sure if I see that one fully, but candid is for Frank has got to be right. Can we do 5 down now? What was this again? At present, the Tories reduced work situation. At present, the Tories reduced work. It's gonna probably really annoy me once I get it. What was 15 across then? Now that we've got the S. Oh right, it was the anagram with an S there. 2, 3. Do you know what? I'm not sure if this is a great synonym or definition, but sponsorship fits from the letters here. As soon as we got that S, ship, and sponsorship is to finance someone. I think it might be close if you said to sponsor someone is to find, not for sponsorship, but that fits the letters, so we'll take it. Third, we got the P. Okay, so we got the P from the Platonic bit. Still no idea what the rest of it might be. We haven't done. Yeah, can we do 4 down? 14 down? What have we got? Hypocritical trumps ultimate debts for 5. So trumps ultimate is not the letter S, it's trumps ultimate, so it's the possessive. So trumps ultimate is the letter P. Is P going at the start? And hypocritical is the definition? Or what would debts be? Well, because debts is sometimes abbreviated, substituted for IOU. And here it's debts, so it's IOUs. For pious, probably a bit of a stretch for hypocritical, but I imagine the way it's going down here is to be pious is when you think you've almost got like a moral high ground or moral superiority, so that you look. No, I said that wrong. It's not moral superiority. It's the sense that you're pious on the outside or morally superior on the outside, but actually that's a front, and you're much worse in your moral behaviour otherwise. That's probably where the hypocritical piece. I didn't explain that particularly well, but that's the type of pious that we're talking about here, where you're sanctimonious maybe. But if we've got a P here for 14 across, what have we got? These right-wing flag hoisters, they view themselves as patriots. That fits. Why is that a weapon of war? I'm gonna have to look that up afterwards. Patriots feels like that fits. Couldn't tell you how it's a weapon of war though. So maybe in the comments let me know what, and I'll look it up afterwards anyway. Maybe it's the name of some kind of weapon. One of the big bombs that's often got some kind of uh, sinister name attached to it. We've got quite a few letters here for 5 down now. Is anything standing out? And we've got the P, perhaps OP for work. And so, and then situation. So so at present, the Tories increasingly feels like the definition, and we're looking for. So that would mean I know what it is: opposition, where we've got the OP in fact, and situation is position, and at present, the Tories they're in opposition. So we're filling that up now, and we got the P here. Okay, I was going to say napped for slept, but that's not right. It wouldn't even fit the letters. Kipped. And we've got to think kidnapped, because there's the and, sadly, and kidnapped. And 4 down, what can we do? If you're a sir, you're a knight, right? You're knighted. How does that fit with fancy? So what are we rising? TH. Think. Okay. So we're saying here that have a fancy, have a think. Having a fancy. That's how that all comes together. Okay. Well, we're actually making quite good progress here. Can we do 23 down? This feels like a nice one. Convention sounds crowded for 4. Feels like a homophone, and we don't. So this is interesting construction, because usually for a homophone you'd want the homophone indicator at the beginning or the end of the clue, and then it's the middle word that you'd be trying to work out what's another word for this that sounds like another word for the word at the end or the beginning. That here we're going to have to see, is there another word for convention and another word for crowded that sounds the same, but one of them is 4 letters, and then that's the answer, really. So we don't know whether it's convention or crowded. If you're crowded, beginning with P, it's got to begin with P. Packed, I imagine. Oh yes, okay. So look, convention is our definition. A pact, a convention, like a formal signing of something, which sounds like you're in a crowded area, which is where it's packed. Brilliant. Why not? So 25 across again. It's this anagram where we know where the C is now. Right there. That's where we're harboring that. I'm gonna have to get more letters though. Have we done? No, we haven't done these on the bottom left yet. 19 across. Wads roll out the legal team. 3-5. Now, I suspect the legal team is our definition, and it's got an exclamation mark in front of it. Sometimes punctuation doesn't mean anything. Sometimes an exclamation mark can be like an indicator for it. The definition is a bit cheekier than usual. Out is got to be an anagram indicator. If something's out, then it's if you're out of it, you're not quite yourself, and it's the same with a word. And I suspect that 8 letters. Is it Wad's roll? Is that 8 letters? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So we're looking for an anagram of Wad's roll that breaks into 3-5 for the legal team. No idea what that could be though. So that I'm sure that's how you pass it. 17 down. University unyielding about endless change. Okay, so endless change is uh Chang, is it? For 5 letters, Chang, which and then unyielding. Another word for unyielding, which is a 2-letter word for unyielding that goes about. Chang for university. I don't know any universities that have got Chang in it. Yeah, we're gonna have to come back to that. That's a shame. We have to come back to that one. 22 across them. Critical of Trump initially, showing little bottle on the outside for 5. Great. Critical of, or something like that, has got to be the definition. Trump initially, the letter T, with a little bottle on the outside. So a 4-letter word for a little bottle that surrounds the letter T. It's got to, for critical, it's got to be vital. There's our T, and vial is our small bottle. That's quite funny. So yeah, critical, that's vital, not that you're being, you're critiquing something. So there's another T in our quest for whatever 13 down is. We've got a V maybe for 17. I mean, and look, the only real university that is, a major top university got a V in it is Harvard. And if we said it was Harvard, how would we work that out? Unyielding about. So, if something's unyielding, it's hard. Perhaps. So we've got the HARD. And then we've got VAR in the middle. So this is actually quite a tricky clue. We've had to have substituted in another word for change and then deleted the last letter off that, which I think is vary. To vary something is to change something, and vary endless is VAR for Harvard. That's if we. I don't think without that V, there's no way. I don't think that I'm going to be picking up to substitute the change there. We've got the A here from Wads. Legal team. Is law the first 3 letters? Because we've got a W and an L. What have we got left after that for legal team? Remember, it's going to be a bit cheeky. Law with a D and R and L and Lords. It doesn't sit right with me, but Lords is what that anagrams to. Maybe there's maybe that's a reference to something I need to look up afterwards. I don't know if I've heard of Lords before. Maybe it's to do with the House of Lords. Not sure. That's another one I'm going to have to look up alongside Patriots. 25. So what have we got left? Have we done... Oh, we haven't done 20 down yet. Put new lead in your pencil. Terrible ordeal for 6. So terrible is an anagram indicator, and an ordeal has got to be the fodder here, because if we're anagramming pencil, then what do we do with the rest of put new lead in your, and then you've got ordeal on the other side to work with. But if you're anagramming ordeal, then the definition can straightforwardly be put new lead in your pencil. And with the R here, it feels like it's got to be something like something. And what would we have left? O D reload, which anagrams ordeal. Put new lead in your pencil. It's not really a satisfying definition, I don't think. Not to question this, of course, I could never put together this kind of crossword, but put new lead in your pencil, unless I'm missing something there. You're reloading lead in your pencil. That's all I can think of. Can we finally do 25 across? Have we got enough letters? Have we got the R? We got an A? Got the C? What could it begin with? Or no, it's not R. E. R. Is it arrogance? That fits. Okay. To have contempt is to have arrogance. Even though I think there's been an interesting tension that I think I've been finding through doing this crossword, is that the answers are coming and you can tell it's the answer, but it doesn't feel, I'm not getting the connections of the definitions. They're stretchier than usual, and I think it's made it maybe less satisfying, if I can be bold enough to say that. I'd be interested to hear what you all think about this. Well, I'm quite confident in some of these anagram answers, but yeah, there's something that's been a bit off with the actual definition answer. Well, I mean, what about 13 down? How close are we to finishing this one? Love. Oh my god, around you. We don't know where the U is yet. We got an O. We do still have another O to come. Usually, if you've got the T and the O here, it might be shun something, maybe. Is there yeah, we've got the I and an N there. And now we're just looking for what letters have we got left that could maybe fill it in. P, we've got L. We haven't got an A or a T. Oh no, we've got a T, sorry. There's one more O. N, I. No, we've got the I. Let's see if we can get 12 across again. Sketch of Republican outcast. Now, let's try and work our way back, because we're thinking Republican outcast, like, I don't know. We're doing something with the letter R here. Maybe there's another abbreviation for outcast. Is there a Republican outcast that is 5 letters, their name, but it's almost the full name, so we're deleting the last letter? That's got an E, and you know what, to sketch, I'm thinking to pencil. Mike Pence, is a Republican outcast, and almost in that we've deleted the E for pencil. And if that's true, because that gets us a C here in Platonic, what is this word? Is it copulation? No, it's got to be copulation because that's the only word that it could be here. So that's filled. But how's your father's platonic love arrangement around university? Is this intending to be an and lit clue, perhaps, which is where the wordplay and the definition is all one thing. There's no passing; it's just all one thing. How's your father? For copulate. And you know what? I think this last clue summarizes how I felt through this puzzle, where I'm confident we've actually all of this is correct. Actually, only a couple of things we might need to just double check to fully understand why that's the answer, like patriots and what was the other one? Law lords. And copulation is the only word really that could probably fit it in that length with those letters, and given what we've got in the clue itself. But I'm just not left going, of course, that moment where you go, it's the moment where it lights up. I haven't had too many light bulbs, and that's the reason why you do these puzzles, is to get that feeling. And I don't know, I'm feeling at the end of this not with that. Maybe I'm just too tired, and that's the reason why. But in any case, thank you so much for playing along. I hope to see what your thoughts are in the comments later on. Always really appreciate it, and hopefully see you next time for the next private eye solve. Enjoy the rest of your week.